I had a couple of questions that came up during the webinar this week on using the portfolio tools and some features that some investors who have been using the portfolio regularly did not actually see. So let's just go ahead in the portfolio tools. There's a variety of different tools available in PowerOptions. The portfolio, where we track our positions, we can set alerts. There's different views in the portfolio. We'll look at that in a moment. And of course, the rollout opportunity is most important, the position analysis view, where we do calculations of rollout opportunities for you so you can evaluate those on the different strategies. Transactions is sort of just like a historical record. Ernie originally designed that for tax purposes to read his account. It does have its uses, and you can edit closed positions in there as well. I prefer to look at analysis by symbol or analysis by positions, just a running tab of closed and open positions that you've done on a given stock or a given security. And if you're doing multiple strategies inside a security, you want to use analyze position, where if you enter an iron condor, say on SPY, and also say a calendar spread of some kind, something along those lines, maybe even doing a covered call, and then an iron condor, and you want to look at them separately, every time you enter a new position, the portfolio is given a specific position ID. So the analysis by position will have those broken out by number, whereas the analysis by symbol will show every transaction closed or open if I want to see it, realized gain or unrealized gain if I want to see it that way on this given security. And of course, the snapshot and the allocation and the alert summary. I want to get to those two mainly in just a moment. But let's just go ahead and take a look at the portfolio. So here we see those four positions I mentioned right now, NEM, Fortinet. This is actually out to January. It's not the September put, but ASO and AMD. We just haven't updated the webinar account yet with the changes we made to Fortinet about 15 days ago, if I'm not 25 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. But here in the portfolio, of course, we can have your various views. I have the stock analysis view. I prefer this one simply because, especially for credit spreads, by the way, because what it shows me, the standard view would show me the original position where I have my gain in my stock and I have the underlying security or change in the put option as well. But then over here, it gives me the position summary. This is in the stock analysis tab view. So from standard view to stock analysis, we get these extra columns over here to the right-hand side. So I can see the current position as a whole, gain or loss on the trade, and how it is with all legs, collar trade, iron condor, all four legs. What is a total liquidation versus future expiration if I hold the position longer term? So this is the view I prefer to use, especially for credit spreads and other things. But of course, what we can do at any time, as I mentioned, is we can set various alerts in the portfolio. So I can go into the alerts column here and click on view. And we can set various alerts for the stock price limit. Hey, I want to be notified if the stock drops below 100. Or let's say I'm just going to put in 104. Now these markers down here, just simple views of, hey, if it goes below 100, that's below my lower mark. I'm going to mark that as red. Red warning, I'm losing money on the position. If it goes above 104, it's going in the direction I want. I want that to be a green alert to let me know I'm in the profitable zone. Or I can set it by an increase or decrease from the stock percent change. And that's based on the price, when you originally entered the position in the portfolio. It's recording that in the background, so it's based on that original position cost. Now, for each leg you have a covered collar, if you have a collar, you have 3 legs, you can set the alerts on leg 2. I already set my alert for the stock price limit, but I can set the option bid limit. This is for the put that I bought, days remaining to expiration, delta, if the delta goes too high, or if the delta goes too low. If the option is in the money or out of the money, I'd use a negative value to reflect out of the money if I didn't want that. Increase and decrease, and of course, some technicals, lower Bollinger Bands, days remaining till earnings, days until ex-dividend. Usually I put 5 days remaining till earnings on most of my positions. I just mark that as a yellow flag in that case. All right, so let's go ahead and save the alerts. And so now we see an alert's been triggered on AMD because it's at 105.09. It's above my 104 mark. And so it shows me here that the alert's been triggered, and also shows here in the upper stock limit, if I had an option and I put in an option price limit, it would have that in the lower and upper limit as well. The highlighted column, so I know one of my positions has triggered an alert. Of course, when this happens, my next step would be to use the More Information button here on any position. And I'd go to Position Actions and then Position Analysis. So whether I'm looking at a covered call, married put, credit spread, long call position, I'd go into here and then I'd scroll down and it would show me potential rollout opportunities. So I could sell a call against the position to further bulletproof the trade. I could use income method number 9 as well to roll down the put closer to the current stock price, currently at 125 put. We could roll it further down, maybe take on a little bit of risk, but then add an income method number 1 with that to keep the bulletproof status, get income after I move it down. Now, this is related to ideas in the blueprint, but if you're just trading a covered call, or if you've got a long call in the portfolio that I think has more than a 50 or 60% profit, you'll see potentials on that long call for turning it into a calendar spread or rolling it up in price. Covered call rollouts, naturally, you can imagine what you'd see there. Now, of course, it's great to see things numerically, which you see here on the view, but we can also see things graphically. I can simply click the More Information button here next to a potential rollout, go to Simulate Trade, and this will give me a side-by-side comparison, a breakdown of the current position. What I currently have on my position, bulletproof status of 0.7%, current liquidation is 2.8%. By selling this November call, we generate about $1.48, not a lot, but that takes the bulletproof status to 2%, guaranteed profit, no risk to the downside, with the potential to make 9% if the stock goes back up to 125. If I had the sentiment is going to 125, I might wait to get a better premium. Again, this are concepts talked in the blueprint. But with just a covered call, you see that you would have your covered call position. You could see the new profit if you perform the roll, whether it's at a debit or whether you roll for a credit, for example, which most of us would probably do. Same with cash secured naked puts. You'll see some rollouts for credit spreads, possibly iron condors as well, and various other strategies. But going back to the portfolio, one of the discussions I had this week was someone said, hey, you know, I've got multiple portfolios entered here that I'm tracking for my actual accounts that I have, some different IRA accounts, my wife's IRA account. I have money at Schwab. I have some here at Fidelity as well. Well, you know, everyone's buying everyone, but in any case, he said it'd be great if I could see all the alerts in a row. And he just didn't look up far enough in the alert summary page here in the Power Options. So if I can create multiple portfolios, so I can track multiple positions in my portfolios, but then I can go to the alert summary, and of course here it's just showing for the radioactive. Sorry, I only have one triggered. That is correct. I'm sorry, the other 7 alerts aren't triggered. Another thing you can take a look at is a snapshot. And so the snapshot is just showing you your current positions on all underlying securities across all portfolios. And you can toggle between 50 entries, 100 entries, or all now as the potential default. So it's showing you the change in price, just a quick snapshot view of all the positions that you have open. You know, and the total position change today, positive 584. A lot of these are just for webinar purposes. They're not real in my account. Okay, so the alert summary, once you set the alerts there, this is a quick view that shows you which ones. Hey, I do have an alert for AMD. That's the only one that's triggered. Click there, it'll take me to that. And then as I mentioned, I can go to the position actions and position analysis. I can see which alerts were triggered, why it was triggered, and do I want to take management against it? Do I maybe want to liquidate the position? So that's why that's handy. And then of course the snapshot, just a quick view of your daily changes for all of your options and all of your securities. And then as I mentioned, of course, you have the total gain or loss today, positions change, profit or loss on the day. So and of course, the allocation's a fun tool too. It shows you basic allocation of where you are right now. And you can toggle between the different portfolios, as I mentioned, and see the different analysis by positions, analysis by sector, by industry, cash, remaining others. I'm sorry, investment amount, number of positions, and so forth. So just some quick views there. Yes, there's a total alert summary. The snapshot is a quick view of what happened to your portfolio during the day. And of course, the main portfolio where you interact with the open positions. Once positions are closed, you close them by rolling them, you liquidate the position. The closed positions would only appear in the transactions or in the analysis by position or analysis by symbol, where the positions you have in red are the positions that are still open and active. The positions with the white background are ones that have closed that have a realized gain or loss as well. All right, so that's just a quick review of what's in the portfolio and those tools that can help you out. Allocation, the snapshot, of course, most importantly, that alert summary is a quick view, so you can see all of the alerts, what's been triggered, then quickly navigate over to that position, and then evaluate from that point what adjustments you might want to make using the rollout opportunities or some of the other tools as well. Tom brought up a quick question while we're on the portfolio. And he says, a lot of times I look at rollout opportunities on some of my covered calls and they have them there, but I had just entered the position. Now that's true, because sometimes if there's just a little bit of movement and the position has gone from in the money to slightly out of the money, or when you opened it originally, Tom, it was out of the money, but now it went in the money, the rollout opportunities will appear. So let's just go ahead and take I'm just going to go quickly into the search. I don't even know what search we left off on. Probably weekly picks of the day. Okay. So we'll look at the default search, weekly picks of the day here. And haven't been tracking Gap recently, but it's small price stock. It's there. Retail's been hard hit, but this is an in-the-money covered call with an option. It's about $2 in the money, a little bit less, $1.60 in the money, it looks like. Price of $2.25. And a potential return, if assigned, it looks like, of 1.8% if the stock remains above $37.50 in the next 7 days. This might have earnings between now and expiration. Let's just check that out. But in any case, let's go to the option research tool here. What I'm likely going to do is just enter this into the portfolio just for the sake of argument. But I want to see, I went to the option research. I'm sorry, folks. I meant to go to the stock research tool. All right, let's try that again. That's much faster. 11/24. It's unconfirmed, though, but no problem there. The earnings aren't expected to be out until November. Fantastic. Let's just go ahead and plug that in. We're going to add it to portfolio. I'm going to call this Friday the 13th. For any other questions that come in that we can track and review later, let's go ahead and put that in as well. And to keep it simple, we're just going to add in 100 shares, no commission fee. We'll just do one contract, and that's not the position I wanted. I wanted the, okay, well, 11 here at 56 cents. Was I reading the wrong? I'm really sorry, folks. I did. I'm sorry. I was looking at Vertiv Holdings. Oh, yeah, so 58 cents, still the 1.8% return. Fantastic. All right. Let's go ahead and submit that in the portfolio. So, okay, I've entered the position in the portfolio. We're starting to track it now. Naturally, due to the bid-ask spread, we're losing a slight amount of money. Let's go into the alerts column real quick. Now, I want this as an in-the-money covered call to be assigned. So I'd probably want to be notified if the stock, say, drops below $11, below the call strike price. I'm going to mark that as red. I know earnings aren't coming up, and this is a short-term trade, so I'm not going to really worry about, I apologize, the days until earnings. Maybe a technical, I want to be notified if the stock drops below the SMA 20. I'll mark that as a red, except in management. Let's just save the alerts. Okay, so nothing's triggered. Related to Tom's question, we just entered this position. The market's closed. We're at a static break even, a small loss just due to the bid-ask spread. The stock remains where it is, of course, naturally at 11.39. Through Friday's expiration, we'll make the full profit on the position. But if I go to position actions and position analysis, now we have this covered call, potential to make 1.7, 1.8% in the next 7 days. And we've got a breakdown of where we stand right now, but the rollout opportunities do still pop up. And the reason why is simply because there's just programmed checks behind the scenes here, saying that there's a role that can be occupied to at, slightly in or slightly out of the money that increases the current return by a certain amount and doesn't extend the time frame beyond 40 or 50 days. I mean, here I could go from a 1.6% in 7 days to 10.6% in 42. Well, that looks like a fair game, but of course, that's if I roll out to the out of the money 12 strike call, which has only a 38.5% probability of being assigned. I open this position with about a 68% probability. I'm hoping to get assigned and earn that return. So yes, Thomas, due to the fact that just based on those raw calculations, a rollout opportunities appear. That doesn't mean I'm going to do one right now. I entered the covered call specifically for next week. If the trade moves against one of my alerts, that's when I'm going to look to evaluate the rollout opportunities and say, ooh, it went below this one. It went above this alert. Hey, this dropped below the 20-day moving average. I may consider more protection and roll down the call if it looks like I'm in a downtrend, or maybe just consider exiting the position altogether. But it's just doing the calculations in the background. And again, it's great to see things numerically, how I can change the percent aside to the new probability, what my buyback cost would be at this point for the initial call I sold, which is about the same price I sold it at, and what the new premium we'd receive and the total adjusted net credit on the position. But as I mentioned, it's great to see it numerically. It's better to see it graphically. You see a rollout opportunity you like, just go to Simulate Trade. Now you have the side-by-side comparison of your original trade in red and then the next trade that's available, what it would look like in blue, and the graphical interpretation of both down below. So when rollout opportunities appear, it doesn't mean we're suggesting you roll or close the position. The rollout opportunities are simply showing up because of the metrics in the background. You still want to add that extra layer of your own discussion and your approach, sentiment, expectations for the stock, and more. We're not saying that you should roll to one of these positions. We're just saying in the background you could roll to one of these positions, but hey, we know you just opened it. You know you just opened it. You're going to wait for a while to next week and probably wait for one of your alerts to be triggered before you make any further adjustments on the trade. All right, so that's just what we wanted to review of the portfolio there. Some of those tools that are available, some of the concepts and navigation of the system as well.